Kelsey with the Athletic. JB to first start off. Is Kevin, what's up with Kevin, and is that are you concerned about that long term?
No, he he bumped knees in our first preseason game. So again, with a goal for him of just having him be as healthy as he can to start the season, we wanted to be extremely patient and give him an opportunity to heal. But he would have been capable to play tonight if needed. Yeah.
And then, what were you seeing as some of the offensive execution struggles, especially in the first quarter, first half, that is something you'd have to look at and address?
Well, I think it's a style that we'll see a lot of, and how teams are going to defend us. I think it was good for us to see it. Teams are going to be physical with us. They're going to grab us and hold us because they know we have talented offensive players. And, the only way that you are allowed to find an advantage is to be disruptive. So the more physical you are, the more disruptive you are, the further back you push the offense, the more you slow the game down, right? The later in the clock you put us, that gives the defense an advantage. I think for us, we're still learning what we're going to face. We've got enough guys who can win the point of attack. And that's with movement, cutting, force downhill. But again, it was good for us, and give Philly credit. They, came in obviously with a plan of what they wanted to do, and I thought they executed it well. But you look at the 7 turnovers in the first quarter, and that lets you know that you were just back on your heels a little bit.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. JB, you said before the game that you just wanted to be better than Game 1. How would you assess that?
At points we were. Again, I don't think we started the game out that way for sure. But I do think we figured it out and recognized what was happening and how do we solve it. So that is an improvement, that to have the ability to do that. Within the game and not wait to go get film and all that stuff to figure it out. So that's improvement. But, these games will give us different tests and different opportunities to learn as a group. What we need to do, how we need to execute, and what our opponents are going to bring.
And early in the game, you put Karras on James. Defensively, how do you feel like Karras held up in that matchup?
I think Karras did a great job defensively. I think he's been really consistent from that standpoint. Like we were talking about through camp and even these preseason games, he has great length, a great will to. He moves his feet well, and he's accepting those challenges. So I think he did a great job.
Thank you.
Marla Ragnar, Beacon Journal. That physicality, were they directing a lot of that at Donovan, or was he just nervous tonight?
No, I think it was at all of them, you know what I mean? And it disrupted our rhythm. This is why we have preseason games, is because it's an opportunity to work those things out. And, how do we help Donovan? How do we do more for Darius and Karras and all those guys? So this is a great opportunity for us to just see it from other opponents, and what teams are going to try to do and what they're going to try to take away, and then we make our adjustments to help.
I'm just curious what you thought of Isaiah Mobile.
I thought it was good. I think Isaiah is, a really solid basketball player. I think he's the type of player that you're going to see for a long time on winning teams, because he just knows how to help everyone else on the floor. So I think you'll see even the better players he plays with, the more impact he's going to have.
Because he had a heck of an assist on one of those.
Yeah. No, he is a really good player. Yeah.
Do we say our names again? Jeff Shadal. So I want to ask you, even trading Lowry Market and your team seems pretty established. What are these young guys? What young guys are kind of making an impression on you?
I think Isaac Okoro has been fabulous. I think the way that he defends, the way that he's running the floor, cutting, the toughness that he brings, I think he's definitely stood out.
But not just tonight, but, from camp through now.
Yeah, I would say him. Again, I thought that Dylan Windler was playing at a high level in camp, until the injury. So I think those are the two guys that have stood out as far as young guys that have stood out.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. In the past, you've mentioned that 10 is kind of the sweet spot for you rotationally, and I know Kevin was out tonight, and that changes things, but you only played 9 until the end of the third quarter, and of those 9, 2 of them, and Chetty and Robin only played less than 7 minutes combined. Was that a way to kind of juice up the minutes for the starters in preparation, or was that something else?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to play them in the fourth quarter, so I was just trying to bump their minutes up, try to get them as many minutes as we could. I let them run long stretches. These games, like we've talked about, are also opportunities for conditioning. So that's why I was trying to let those guys run a little bit longer. And then we'll do the right thing by them tomorrow in order to prepare them for Wednesday.
And then how have you seen the pairing between Donovan and Darius evolve from the start of camp now through 2 preseason games?
I think it's been, good to watch how much they want to help each other. I think early on in camp they were trying so hard to help each other that it was to our detriment. But I think now they've found a balance of how they can help each other, how they can play together, and be successful in it.
Evan Dammerell. J.B., you had mentioned a lot to us last year now that you're a big proponent of winning the scrap. And Donovan told me the other day that when the offense just isn't working, you guys can fall back on your defense. He said there was some good tonight. Did you notice your guys translating defense to offense and trying to get back to the game that way?
Yeah, I thought more like in the first quarter, we didn't get the job done on either side of the ball. But I thought that we started to find that more in the second and to start the third as well, where, our goal is, we may not score for 3 possessions in a row, right? But we can trust in our defense that we can hold the fort there also. And by being able to do that, we have talented enough offensive players and unselfish enough guys that our offense will come. But there's going to be nights where the ball just doesn't go in the hole. And, you can't just not play because one side of the game isn't working for you. So we will always, and we talked to our guys about this tonight, hang our hat on the defensive end of the floor. If you want to get in, you'll compete and help on that end of the floor. The guys that are carriers, our starters, our heavy minutes guys, that doesn't exclude them from having to defend and compete on that side of the floor. So, again, that's going to, we're working our way to that. That's what training camp and preseason is for.
And it looked like Dean tweaked his ankle a little bit. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he said he could have gone back in, but we wanted to hold him out again just to be safe.
Brendan Gulick, Sports Illustrated Media Group. I'm curious on just like a general number of turnovers. Is there a number that is acceptable that you're willing to live with on a nightly basis?
Yeah, I mean, there's a type of turnovers that we're willing to live with, right? We're not willing to live with, turnovers where we're playing in a crowd, right? We're not living with turnovers that are careless turnovers. If a guy is making the right play and the defense makes a great play and takes a charge, we live with those turnovers of guys being aggressive to the basket and attacking the paint. Improvement for us would be 13 to 14 range. I think that's something that we'll focus on, obviously improving from last year where we did turn it over quite a bit. But again, I think it's more so about the type of turnovers than the strict number of them.
It felt like there were some moments tonight where maybe Jared didn't control the ball as well as normal down in the low post. Is that something you've seen regularly that he's working on, or is it just maybe
Yeah, I mean, again, it's preseason for everybody. And there was a lot of contact being made on those plays as well. Like, Jared is sure-handed. He doesn't give it up much. So, again, that's something that we'll get fighting through and just being used to that.